Hey, good morning everybody. My name is Josh Crothers. I'm the owner of Prescott Landscape Professionals, and we're going to talk today a little bit about landscape maintenance services in the winter. So here in the Central Highlands of Prescott area, most of our trees and shrubs are dormant in the winter, not a lot of flowers. The leaves have dropped off the deciduous trees, and the number one thing that we hear from our customers is, wow, why are you coming this time of year? It's winter. There's nothing to do in my yard. Goodness, we couldn't be farther from the truth. So, we're going to talk today about a couple of things that our maintenance crews specialize in the winter that are super important for your yard to look really awesome come spring, okay? So here we go. Number one, we're going to talk a little bit about leaf litter, right? So our trees drop their leaves in the fall. Some of our trees hold their leaves until December, even January, particularly our sycamore trees. When those leaves drop, if they have any fungus on them, spores, etc., from disease from the previous season, right? All that fungus sits right at the base of the tree. If we don't get those leaves raked up, picked up, and taken away, that fungus and spore stuff is left for next year, right? So it's super important every year, get all the leaf litter cleaned up from your yard. Usually that's our focus in late November and December, so get everything put to bed, right? Get all that disease stuff out of the way. So the second thing that we really focus on in the winter is as it's colder, plants are kind of like a bear, you know, they're hibernated for the winter. And so what we like to do is we'll go down to the bottom of the plants, let's say, you know, in the bottom of one, maybe like right here, and we lift up that plant a little bit. Lets us do a couple of things. Lets us clean out any last leaf litter that's still in there. It lets us lift it a bit to help the tree to grow bigger and taller and stronger. It also lets us see one of the most important parts of our landscape maintenance program in the season, the irrigation emitter, right? Now, if it's a native plant, it might not have that. But if it's a formally planted shrub or tree as part of the formal landscape, it's gonna have an irrigation emitter. And that way, when we turn everything on this spring and maintain it throughout the season, you know, we can see where that emitter would be. We can see the water coming out. You as the client can see that. Super helpful for everybody. Makes our maintenance that much easier on the irrigation system come spring. All right, so another thing that we work on are the native areas. So let's say you've got a smaller yard, but you know, it's formally planted maybe in a courtyard or an entry or something, but a lot of our Prescott landscapes have native, right? We've got scrub oak, sumacs, we might have junipers, pinyon pine. And so a lot of times what we'll work on in the native areas in the winter is thinning and lifting. One, we cut out the dead material, so we help minimize some of the fire fuels, along with just thinning them out, cutting off a diseased branch maybe, storm damage from a snowstorm, that kind of thing. All right, guys, so another thing that we work on in the later winter months, right, are roses. A lot of Prescott landscapes have formally planted roses in them. Why? One, they're really pretty, they have a great scent, they're an awesome pollinator, and they're very cold hardy, so they do well year after year here in our Prescott landscape. So roses, super pretty, super blossomy, right? And how do you stimulate growth on roses? You prune them. So you really want to wait till just at the end of the winter, February, March, depending on temperatures and how our season's doing and what kind of winter we've been getting. And we work on pruning back the stems to really generate awesome new growth come spring. Another one that we work on are your evergreens. So as you look at a palette of landscape here, we have ponderosa pine, scrub oak, we might have a juniper in the back, kind of hard to tell in that picture, but we've got our native trees. We might have also planted blue spruce. We might have added pinyon pine, juniper, etc. Any number of different evergreens that keep their leaves in the winter, right, or their needles. In the cold temperatures, the tree is less likely to exhibit stress symptoms from insect attack, sap movement, etc. So we can do a little more pruning on an evergreen tree in the winter months that we would not recommend doing in the summer months when it's hotter, there's more stress on the tree. So winter is an awesome time to be working on both your formally planted evergreens as well as your native. Another one that we work on are deciduous trees, right? So what does deciduous mean? Deciduous means we drop our leaves in the winter, right? We go into that cold weather kind of hibernation. A number of different trees that are in our landscape that we formally plant: autumn blaze maple, London plain sycamore, flowering plum, aspen. I mean, you know, the sky's the limit, redwood ash, etc. So the trees have lost what in the wintertime? All their leaves. So they're dropped. We've cleaned up that leaf litter that we talked about earlier. And in turn, right, what can we see now when we look through a branch if it's not covered up with leaves? We can see all the different branches. We can see if any of them are rubbing. We can see if any of them are crossing. We can see if any of them are growing back the wrong way or blocking another branch or whatever, which lets us create what we call ease of pruning, right? So we can totally see the tree and its canopy. We can thin out all the sucker branches, the small stuff, and all the things that we don't want. Since we can see it, it lets us go faster, lets us trim more, and it also creates much less stress on the tree in the winter months, right? Because it's cold, the tree's kind of in that hibernation mode that we just talked about, and in turn, less stress on the tree. One last item that we do work on in the winter months a lot, I mean, there's tons of stuff, there's always something to do, but one more that we're gonna talk about today would be grasses, right? So in this case, we've got some blue point fescues that are right here, small bunch grasses. We might have taller grasses over here. Maybe a feather grass, a deer grass, a grama, you name it. Common misconception is we should take the hedger and cut grasses down. Oh, stop the presses, stop the presses. We don't want to do that at all, right? Because what that does is that leads to dieback. But in the wintertime, we can cull these grasses. We recommend kind of a hand prune pull method. Less stress on the plant and more growth so that when spring comes, right, those grasses just gotta reach out. So, hey everybody, that's what we wanted to talk about today, landscape maintenance. What do we do in the winter? Oh my gosh, there's so much to do. So just remember that next time you want to ask that question. And if you have any questions about your landscape maintenance here in Prescott, please give us a call here at Prescott Landscapes, 928-830-3480. Find us on the web, PrescottLandscapeProfessionals.com. We'll be happy to get you a free consultation, answer any questions that you have, and help your yard look good. Because remember, here at Prescott Landscapes, we work hard on your yard. Thank you.